What is going on, YouTube? Zero Lead here, back again with a new video, episode 46 of the Disco Era USS Enterprise tutorial. Just want to thank you again for tuning into today's video, and if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. Can't thank you enough for that. And today we're going to be continuing our work on our engineering bay, or main engineering bay, and we're going to get a little bit more detail in on our interior of our shuttle bay. Now we're moving on to, we've completed the warp core section in the previous video, and now we're going to be moving on to the secondary. We've prepped out some of this area, but we're really going to be fleshing it out in this video. I'm looking for some specific pictures here. As you can see on this picture, it's kind of like a walkway on each side, on this side. So this is kind of like what I'm going with. So you can imagine at this point that if you take this room away right here, and you make this into a walkway, and the next room going back would be the warp core. So this side we can have a walkway, we'll have another walkway on the other side, but this is kind of like what we're going to be going with. Now this is not what we're going to ultimately end up on, but took a little bit of a process to finally land on the final design of the engineering bay, but I still want to show this part of it because we're going to have to build this in order to get to the second part of the changes that we make to it. And nonetheless, this is going to give you some ideas on some alterations that you can make in your engineering bay, because again, you don't have to make it look exactly like mine. You can see here, for the time being, I'm closing up these doors. Those were the doorways in the front for the deflector dish, and I think we're also going to close up these cuts on each side of the wall. And not a super long video today, only about 26 minutes, but we definitely got some stuff to do. All right. Now, I think we're going to be adding another layer on here, maybe. But for right now, we're going up one, and we're going to go all the way back, and we're just doing a layer 2 wide. So we're kind of building out the walkway that I was showing you guys in the picture. Not sure if that's where our doors are going to end up on, but to go into our deflector room, but still want to leave them open just to kind of get an idea of what I'm working with. So you can see I'm adding my walkway on the other side, and now we're going to make that cut double wide again. We're going to add another layer of flooring. Let's fix that. Perfect. Looking good. So we have a couple of options that we can do here, but right now we're going to take, I think we're going to take 2 rows out, not going out, but going down. We'll take out these first 2 rows, more than likely. Kind of want to throw down something to get an idea where stairs are going to go. It's not right. We need to put 2 more blocks, and we'll put the stairs on top of it. There we go. Still not right. It's not matching up with the door, but still a good idea just to get something down, see what it's going to look like. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Need to add 2 more blocks in the back on this side. All right, looking good. So now this wall here that's going into the warp core room, we're going to add it in another layer because it doesn't look right the way it is right now. Probably need to fill in those other cuts too. We'll get there. And so far in the tutorial series, definitely been getting a lot of positive feedback, and I definitely appreciate that. And got a lot more to come. I want to finish up this enterprise before I move on to another ship in Minecraft. But as you guys can see, I'm starting to roll out videos on Ark. I want to try to keep that going weekly, so I can try to keep that at least consistent. I think I'm going to be doing that on Mondays for Ark, on Ark builds. But regardless, for Minecraft, you guys are going to be getting your videos Monday through Saturday. So definitely have a lot more content on Minecraft side. And going back into our build here, you can see I'm just adding in another layer on our back wall, going into our warp core room. So we're still in our second engineering room, where we've been working for the duration of this video. I'm just using the white concrete just to make this completely flat. I think it's going to look a lot better. And a couple more rows to do. It's like 2 more maybe. We're going to do the same thing on this side, get rid of the white quartz and replace that with the darker gray concrete. It's this way we have that gray strip going all the way around the door frame. Okay, so our room is coming together a little bit more. We're getting there, kind of a step in the right direction. We're going to pop over to this concept art or the screenshots here to take a look again. So we're building this section right here. Now, I was talking about this before. This is not ultimately what we're going to settle on. What I'm going to settle on is basically 2 like mechanical pieces on each side that we're currently working on, and it just ends up flowing a little bit better. And then also we're going to have our airlocks that are going to be coming in from this room too, so that we can actually access our ship, because when the shuttle bay is done, I actually close in the back. I had a dome on it, and that ends up came out pretty cool. Glad we're actually really happy how it turned out, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to show you guys that in the next couple of episodes. Well, I think in the next 4 or 5 episodes, something like that. We'll see. I haven't pre-watched all of them, but uh, we're definitely getting to that point where we're going to start getting back into getting a few more things on the outside of the ship done, because it's not finished yet, but also got a ton of stuff to do on the interior as well. Now you can see I'm doing here, I added a row of white concrete, and underneath it I added staircases looking upwards. So this way it looks like railing, kind of. So going up 1, from our walkway. So there's a gap now, and then we're going to look up. You want to make sure you're looking up, so this way the stairs are placing upside down. Otherwise, it's not going to give that illusion. And then we can go back and we can delete the blocks on top of it. This thing's definitely coming together. And if there's any ships that you guys want to see me build in the future, drop a comment below in the comments section. Usually pretty active in the comments. I definitely read all the comments on the channel. I don't get a chance to respond to every single one, but I try to. Um, but I'm planning my next build. It's definitely going to be Voyager or the Enterprise D. I'm doing both those ships, just not in that order. I just haven't decided which I'm going to do first. But regardless, if there's another ship that you guys want to see me do, let me know, because definitely interested to hear everyone's feedback, stuff they want to see. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a starship from Star Trek. It could be from Star Wars also, or any other show. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a starship. It can be really anything. Just drop a comment, and as you can see here, I'm kind of plotting out my doorways here to go into the deflector control room, but we're going to be changing this a couple of times. It's not where we're going to sit on. I'm trying to accommodate my doors, my staircases here, but end up moving this back a little bit, because in the beginning of the video, you guys may not remember, we added a couple of layers on our walls, so we can go back a little bit before we hit the outside. So that's something we're going to have to end up doing at some point, because we don't have a ton of room in this area to work with, but we have enough that we can do everything that we need to do here. So I'm just dropping down some sea lanterns so that I can see everything I'm working on here. You can see the nice curvature of the ceiling here, where you can use this to our advantage. And because that looks just like it looked in the picture, the way it has that curve. Let's try down some detailing here in the middle. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work right there. So now we're going into that room. We're going to probably have to close that up. We'll just bring that all the way back. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes it looks like you can shave away a little bit and then you hit another area. So you want to be careful with, because you may not want that black strip showing up in that room. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but I'm not sure what we're going to do up there just yet. So just easier to close it in. This is kind of like an experimental phase at this point for this room. Because again, I'm trying to go for a more classic approach or classic look. I want to add some hull lines going around the top, both sides. We're going to continue this line all the way across. We're going to add a couple more rows of this too. This way, as you're walking through engineering, excuse me, it actually looks like there's struts holding your ship together, holding it in place. We're going to have to add another sea lantern for our lighting. It's all good. Get the back one. Oh. We got one more. All right, we're looking really good. Definitely making some progress here. We have our walkways. We got a couple of struts. Now, again, you see this wall here. We can go back one, so we can take out one layer. looks like. If we go down, eventually when we take away this walkway that we're on, we'll be able to go down a level and shave out a little bit because it bows out just, I think, below where I was just taking blocks away. Now you can see I'm trying to think that maybe it might be a better idea at this point to move my doorways to go into the deflector control off these walkways. But basically where we're adding these doorways right here, looking outward to the outside of the ship, that's where our airlocks are going to be. So that's going to be like a intersection point to where we can come inside the ship from the outside of it, you know, to cruise around, make any changes we need to make to it, and then eventually, when the ship is done, I'll do a showcase video, you know, flying around the whole interior, you know, going through the whole interior, taking everybody through a tour of it, and that'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm still not done with the ship. I'm getting pretty close, um, but I'm not there yet. I've got a couple more rooms to do on the saucer section before I call it a day. But we're definitely moving quite along here. Um, think I maybe need to move my staircase back a little bit. Not sure. Or I could always close that up. But we're going to add the staircase back. So there's going to be a couple of changes that we make in this room. I go back and forth just a little bit, but I mean, sometimes you got to do it, man. I mean, when you're trying different things out, I mean, you just got to look at it and see how it's going to look, basically. You know, that's kind of what I got going on right now. Seeing maybe if I just want one staircase, basically, in the back. It's kind of the idea that I'm thinking. We're definitely making some progress in episode 46. We're already at 16 minutes into today's episode, and we got about 9 minutes left. You see I'm bringing the strut up from the base of our staircase, going right up to the walkway. I'm going to bring this all the way up. I'm doing on both sides. Pretty certain that line's actually going to stay there from later on when I make some changes in here. But that's why, like I said, I wanted to show this part of it, even though I'm going to be drastically changing it. I was considering skipping over it, but then I thought, you know, if I skip over it, you guys are going to miss, you know, the base construction before I make the change to it. So I didn't really want to do that. So I feel a little bit bad that we have to slightly backtrack just a little bit, but we're really not going to be rebuilding the room from scratch. We're just going to be altering the sides. So not a super significant change from what we end up with. You can see here that my struts aren't working, aren't gelling with my walkway here. So I'm going to move them back a little bit. I can just add an extra line into the wall. Can't go too far back, but I think I can delete one row and not be on the outside wall and be okay. Nope, that's on the outside. Okay, that's good to know. So we'll figure that out. That's an option too. Add one more, and then the last 2 rows we go inside the wall. And this blue here on the wall, if you wanted to, you could delete that, and like there's certain blocks you can put down that almost looks like computer panels. So you can either do that, or you can even leave the blue there, and have that double as just blank computer screen. That's definitely an option too. And again, no matter what I come to do in here, I just can't figure out nothing when these hallways on either side. So it just completely eluded me in trying to come up with some type of solution here that's going to work. I'm just adding like a gray line on going around our doorway here, but I don't want to go to the point where I'm getting outside and then adding the gray, because that, if we go outside the ship and there's just one random dark gray block, it's going to look weird. So we're not going to do that. We can do the one up top and then the 3 on sides. That looks pretty decent. Doing a walkthrough, this doesn't look bad. Again, we could kind of, after this area is completed, before I make the change to it, could leave it like this, and I think people wouldn't bat an eye at it, and they'd be like, okay, this kind of feels like the Enterprise, but it feels like a classic Enterprise. Um, One of the things that I thought that was, I mean, they didn't have a lot of money to work with back then, and also they didn't have the set scale to build like a full engineering bay like we saw in like Star Trek Into Darkness or any of the remake movies. Um, but I think there was something that was special, just about the design that they ended up with. Kind of like the impression that I got was that they were just so futuristic that the mechanical working parts, were just so small that it was just behind the walls in certain areas in the ship, and there weren't that many, giant machines all over the place. And that's kind of like what we're going with for this Enterprise. And if you want something that's more mechanical on the interior, then I definitely check out my Star Trek Beyond Enterprise A that I built, because that would definitely be a lot closer to what you might be looking for. So we're going to hop over here now to our shuttle bay, and we're going to just curve out our door here. Just give it a little bit more definition, basically, rather than just a block, basically. We're going to replace this with darker gray concrete. That looks pretty good. I think that kind of matches a little bit better with the design that we got going on in here. This could change later, but I think this looks pretty good. Don't know what looks better right there, the darker or having the white concrete on the sides. was trying to figure out a way, basically, at this point, maybe have these doorways opened or something, but I think there's just not that much that we can really do with them, with the space that we have. Which isn't really a big deal. It would be nice if I could do something with them to have like a lift that goes downstairs into the cargo room, but we can build something down there that gives that impression, you know, but it's not going to be functional or anything like that. And now we're back in engineering bay 2. I'm just trying to like build something out on this back wall that's the other side of this wall is the deflector dish, so we're facing the front of the ship at this point. I'm just trying to add some detailing into the front, but got to be careful too, because I don't have that much room to work with up here, because we're kind of like right up on our turbo lift. So we want to make sure that if we add in another layer, that we still have enough room to walk around and do stuff. All right, so we filled in that top. We're not going to fill in the bottom of that cut. That doesn't look horrible like that. Gotta fill in that hole there. There's still enough room to walk through. And we can't really go out here because then we'd be right in the deflector control room. So we're kind of like at our limit here. But we've got a good base to work off of, and this doesn't look bad. You know, if you guys like it, you can definitely leave this room like this, and I'm going to do a couple other things here to make it look a little bit better before I change it. But it's not going to be super drastically different than what it currently is right now. Just a couple subtle changes here and there. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap up episode 46. Just want to thank you very much for tuning into today's video. I really hope that everybody enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed doing this entire series. Um, if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I definitely appreciate that as well. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for episode 47. And in fact, you can always catch new episodes Monday through Saturday of Minecraft builds. The only days that I don't have new videos coming out is on Sundays. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for me. And just want to thank you again. And I'll catch everybody on the next video. Have a great day.